weekly chart on the SPY. And what do the bulls have going for them? Well, I can tell you, short-term bull case still is the fact that you're up above the weekly where weekly buy signals start. Not much, very little. It's a bull case because the SPY is right back up here to test this top on the SPY. That's the upper resistance level, that trend line right here. And this is all on a weekly because this was the weekly tops that were being put in on 5/1 of 2011. One of the highlights that we have is we were short these periods. It's on our website. Just go type in the indexes for calendar 2011 and you'll type in Dow Jones, S&P, SPY, NASDAQ 100, and basically we've rallied right here. And the 10-week moving average, we're above it. We're above the 50-week, no problem. And they've got a slight little bull buy signal because they do. And upside volatility is always wonderful to trade for one reason because, you got to know when to be coming out at the bottoms. And we've demonstrated that all year. It's all live on our website. No joke about it. Live every day. So we're going to be watching that upper resistance line. Another thing that we're going to be looking at is this right here. The top of this bar, weekly down bar right here. That's at 130.76. That's going to be up here. Currently, on the SPY, you have an 82.92% rising overbought range. It's just the range area. It can go much higher. Still could go up to 90, 92. It would take a big bull case to get that to happen as far as buyers stepping in the market. The problem that we're having in the first 3 trading days, calendar 2012, 1/5/2012 being the date, is that we had about 30% less volume in the S&P compared to other Januaries. And the thing that we haven't seen is that risk on, risk off trade come into play because we haven't. And that means that on balance volume that people choose to ignore, you have to have an increase of 1.5 times minimum on balance volume to the upside, but really to top it off with some pudding there, you want 3 times. And you really know that bull is in heat. And that bull, it's going to have to get itself up against that resistance level. And it's going to have to close above that trend line on that SPY on this weekly level. And once again, on that SPY in the shorter term is that this weekly horizontal line right here, which is the top of this bar right here on 10/30 of 2011. And what bar am I referring to? This one over here. Right in here. 10/30, this one here. This is the major bar, the top of this reversal bar to that 4-week pattern to a, let's just call it to the low, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7-week pattern to work off this overbought or oversold process, the weekly indicator here that the public uses. We use different things, but it works for them because that's what they're taught to do. Ours is better for one reason, because it's more mathematical than looking at this, and it gives a true direction. That's why ours is different than standard technical analysis. However, you're going to be looking at resistance 1 and resistance 2, and ultimately, for the SPY and the bull case, that's going to be your final destination right about there at 133.26 to the upside. That would be, but you're going to have to get through these weekly areas, these weekly trend lines in here. Okay? And once again, I will be happy to just take this part of it, MMTs, and let you know to look right over here in this area on your SPYs. We'll do a lot more training as to where that top end is going to be because once again, that blue line, 10-week moving average, is kind of tilting down a little bit. Yeah. And you don't want to see that tilting down. You want to see that going up in this direction. You don't want to see it flat with the weekly calendar year opening week so far. Tomorrow will be the end of the week. And the first weekly bar will be confirmed for 2011 on the SPY and how to trade it. Knowing when to be long, knowing when to be short, and knowing how to trade the SPY on an intraday level. And what is a SPY? It's this one right here. SPY. Lots of historical data, 171 million shares, quite liquid. Very narrow range. You got $2 there, though, off the low. So they are tradable. And they're tradable both long and short on the SPY. $215 million. We got 3,000 shares. Look at all the shares trading after hours. Closed at 128.4. Oh my goodness. Don't tell me that the SPY is gapping down in after hours. What would cause all of that? Well, one thing I can say is that at the closing bell on the E-mini futures NASDAQ 100, look at that sell program that we had here. And it looks like we're consolidating, but we sold in to the rally at 3 minutes, and now we have a gap down on the SPY going into a major report called your monthly economic report. We have classes that you can take on how to trade economic news if you'd like to learn. And that's the gap down. And that means that we are going to have big headline numbers tomorrow. It's the first gap down right after the closing bell that we've seen. Another thing that we didn't see so far this year being very, very shallow, as you know, as of the third day, is one thing we haven't seen is into the closing bell. Once again, NASDAQ 100 futures sold right off, right here, dropped. And you have a drop in the SPY. That's a pretty good little drop right here. And look at the volume. Look at the blocks of shares in the SPY and after hours right now on 1/5/2012. How to trade the SPY. Why is it going down? Why are the futures in the NASDAQ 100 doing that? Here's that weekly chart on the SPY. Right here on the SPY. People love trading them, you know, because they do. And once again, this is that sell down that we experienced in the E-minis, because we did, in the E-mini NASDAQ 100 futures. How to trade the SPY. And what do you use? Here you go. This is trading the E-mini S&P 500 futures. Goes along with the SPY, doesn't it? ETF, doesn't it? Sure does. Sold into the close. How to trade the SPY. SPY gapping down. How to trade the SPY, the spider. Long and short.